What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Reselling History. Today I'm going to show you possibly the greatest watch I have ever come across in the wild and for the greatest price I've ever paid. This vintage watch is particularly valuable and I didn't pay a lot of money. I bought it in this junk lot on eBay a few months back, and I only paid around $30 or $40 for it. I have finally gotten around to showcasing it. I have kept everything the same in this junk lot, with the exception of the valuable watch. I've cleaned it up a bit, but I'm going to show you a picture of the listing here and the price I paid for it. And as you can see in the listing photo, everything it's kind of blurry. They weren't really clear photos, so I didn't know entirely everything I was buying, but I saw enough to know that this is a potentially valuable watch. So let's get into it, you guys. You're really gonna love this. Before I show you the watches in this lot, I just want to show you the cheap stuff that came in it too. Like, there's some cheap little Chinese pocket knives, nothing valuable. You got an old fishing reel. You have 1 quarter from 1965. It's not even silver. You have a vintage lighter. And I thought this was interesting. There's also this roll of 50 wheat pennies. It says 1950 mixed years. So that's pretty cool. Pennies are going up in value because they're not going to make them anymore. I'll sort through these some other time, but this is the junky stuff. And then I'm going to show you the watches next. Okay, so there's 5 watches total. I'm showing you the first 4, and then the 5th watch is the most valuable watch. So let's get right into it. This is a Bulova Accutron. I think this is from 1971. It's a 10 karat gold plated case and bezel, and it has a really cool dial. Really cool. It's like a grayish blue color. But it's a beautiful Accutron. Obviously, with these Accutrons, you kind of have to take a gander and buy a battery for it, see if it works. Sometimes they don't work. They're tuning forks, so I think you need a special battery for these. If you buy a modern one, I believe it's going to run a little fast for it. But a cool find. This is at least a $50 watch, and right there we're already in the positive. Next up is a vintage Elgin. I've tested this multiple times and it's running well. It's got a cracked crystal, as you can see, but this is still probably a $30 or $40 watch. It is a gold filled case, probably from around maybe like 1950 era, late 40s, early 50s. But that's a cool vintage watch find. And then we have this Paramount quartz watch made in Hong Kong or Japan movement. So this is just, you know, a little fun watch somebody might like. Not really worth a lot. And then there is a Coke bottle bezel vintage Bulova, and I've had one of these before, and I think these are like late 40s era, usually maybe like around 1950. But this one is not working. The crown is not turning at all, so it needs to be repaired. It does have a gold filled case, I think. Yeah, it is a gold filled case. But they're really cool looking bezels, and there's always people looking after these or looking for them. So I don't know, maybe a $30 or $40 watch just as a repair project. Pretty cool. Well, last up, you guys, is the valuable watch, and this is gonna be in my watch collection for sure. It is running off and on at the moment, so I do need to get it repaired. But I did clean up the strap and the case a little bit to make it look a little less grungy. And here it is. Look at that beauty. This is a vintage I want to say late 60s Vulcain 17 jewel Inca block skin diver watch. It has a wonderful bullseye type of dial. It's got a date indicator, a rotating bezel, and this is just probably the sickest watch I have in my collection so far. The crystal's in pretty good condition, which was shocking because this was thrown in a box with everything without padding or bubble wrap. So I'm surprised it's not all scratched up. I'm surprised that Elgin works too. That's the worst way to ship vintage watches. But it has an original strap too. 18mm strap. But this watch is just amazing because Vulcain actually re-released this watch. I think it's a little different, the reissue, but it's a Nautique, Vulcain Nautique. It's a skin diver watch. They released it with a manual mechanical movement and also an automatic movement, and that, I think it runs from like $1,000 to $2,000. As far as investment, this is going to be a worthy investment to get repaired, because I did see a few months back when I first got this that one of these sold for $600, and it had one cosmetic flaw with it. This one doesn't have any flaws, it looks like. So I think once it's repaired, it's going to be worth at least that, maybe upwards to $800, maybe $1,000, who knows. It's a beautiful watch. One thing I want to show you guys is right here on the bottom of the dial, it says RA Swiss, and then it says made RA. I don't know what that means. I've tried researching it. I can't get a definitive answer. Some people say it says, or some people say it means radium dial, which I kind of question because I think this watch is from around late 60s or early 70s when radium wasn't used anymore. So I actually have a Geiger counter. I think it's a good idea if I just put the Geiger counter up next to it and see if it gives off a high reading. Okay, for comparison, here is a for sure radium watch. This is a vintage World War II Wittnauer, got a radium dial. Okay, I think you just put it up right above it and it should start getting a reading. All right, I'm not gonna sit there and record the whole reading, but a radium dial, it jumps up pretty fast to like the 20s, 30s, 40s. So now let's check the Vulcain. And so far, I do not think this is a radium dial because it would still be increasing at the moment. All right, time to show you guys the movement here. I don't know who makes this movement for Vulcain. I'm gonna have to do some research on it. What I do see is right here on the bottom, it does say, I think AS, ST, and I think it has a movement number. I think it says 1903 or something like that. So if you guys know the manufacturer of that movement, please let me know in the comments. I would be very interested to know. Also, the watch case itself was made in Hong Kong, which I found pretty interesting. I guess a lot of companies were doing that back then in like the late 60s, early 70s. So that makes me pretty confident this is like from around 1970. But there's how the watch looks on the wrist, and it is just beautiful. This is probably going to be my favorite watch in my collection. There you guys have it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, subscribe to my channel for more future watch videos, you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care, everybody.